Helen, I'm the Diddy Stitcher. My pronouns are she, her. It is Thursday the 4th of July today. What an auspicious day. It's voting day here in the UK. 2024 general election. I'm going to go through this one quite speedy because I've got some work to do, but wanted to get this Flosstube up and out because I've got some plans for the election and I wanted to do it before we did that. So, first things first, pulled a tarot card. Felt especially connected to the cards today, and that has revealed itself in my pull today. I pulled the World. And I'm going to read from the book of this deck. This is the Divine Feminine Tarot deck by Kathryn. And yeah, it really sums up kind of how I'm feeling today. So this is the last card in the Major Arcana in that journey. And it says, the world represents the integration of your evolved self with the world around you. Your journeys have brought you to an end and you have reached an understanding of your gifts and purpose. Of course, life continues and you will begin a new cycle shortly. Let the guiding signs of the zodiac, the tarot, and the four directions bring you stability and harmony in your next journey as you take all that you have learned with you into the great unknown. Just perfect. And I'll talk about why. So, what I'm into, politics, stay with me. I think you probably will if you've seen my Instagram stories of late. Yeah, today's polling day, the day we all get to vote. You know how I feel about the Tories. But I'm starting to think maybe I need one of these for Labour. Because it's not going very well. I took Anna to nursery this morning and I had interactions with 3 groups of Labour, what do you call them? Canvassers. Asking, well, I had one yesterday actually that came to the door. Asked me if I was going to vote. I said yes. He said, who are you going to vote for? I said Green. And he said, okay, thank you very much, and was walking away. I don't know the exact protocol of what they're allowed to kind of do. They're not they can't strong arm you into who to vote for. So if you've already made up your mind, I think they can't try and persuade you otherwise. But I was like, no, you're going to stand there and you're going to hear why I'm going to vote for Greens. Because of what Keir Starmer has said about trans people. So yeah, I can't stitch this and then vote for Labour. It's awful. And none of the parties are particularly pro, which is a shame. But to be actively engaging with J.K. Rowling, a TERF, and talking about implementing the cast review, which if you don't know about, go and Google it, it's just horrible. So I said this to the guy at the door, and he said, yeah, but the MP here is part of the LGBTQ, and she's a lesbian in a same-sex marriage. I'm like, I know that. And that makes me wonder why she's still Labour. And she's done good work before. I've lobbied her, or whatever you call it, on childcare issues, to vote for more childcare funding, more childcare places. She was very open to that, and voted for the votes that counted for that. So yeah, I was disappointed. So on the way to the metro station, we saw a group of canvassers They said, are you going to vote today? I said, yes, I'm voting Green. And they said, okay, thank you very much. And I was like, have a wonderful day. Because you know what? We still need to put some good out in the world. Even if you don't agree with people, just tell them to have a nice day and smile at them. So I was with Anna and she said, who are those people? And I said, oh, well, today is the day that we all vote for the boss. If you've seen Bluey, that's the kind of route that they go down of explaining election day in one of the episodes. And she was like, but we already know who the boss is. And I said, who's the boss? And she said, Daddy. I mean, he would be better than a lot of them. But yeah, and she must have heard me say Green. She said, so you're going to vote for the Green team? And I said, yes, I'm going to vote for the Green team. And she said, oh, I'll be on your team too then, Mummy. And I said, you can vote for whoever you want to, because I don't want to indoctrinate my daughter into anything. You know, she can make up her own mind when she's older. I said, you just vote for the people that you like. So, yeah. So then we got off the metro on the other side at the station to drop her off at the at nursery. And there was a single guy there in his red coat and hat and trying to get people to vote for Labour. We were with one of the teachers from Anna's nursery who usually gets the same train as us. And she's like, oh no, I don't think I'm going to vote. She's not really engaged. And he said, oh, okay, how about you, madam? And I said, yes, but I'm sorry, I can't vote for... And I was going to say Labour, and he says, oh, are you too young? And I was like, oh, thank you for the flattery, but no, I can't vote for Labour because of Keir Starmer's stance on trans rights. And he said, oh, you're the second person that said that to me this morning. And given this is quite early on in the morning, this is like 7:30 in the morning, I was like, oh, that's good. And he said, yes, I've learnt the word turf today. And I was like, wonderful. And he said, is it T-U-R? And I was like, no, it's T-E-R-F. And I explained to him what it was. And he said, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. And I was like, great. So that's why I can't vote for Labour, I'm afraid. And he said, oh, well, who are you going to vote for? And I said, Green. And he said, oh, well, I agree with quite a lot of their policies. And I'm like, okay, so why you stood there in a red hat and not a green hat? I didn't say that to him, but yeah. But yeah, we walked away and I was talking to the teacher and she was like, oh, you were very well spoken. And I said, yes, but now I'm shaking because I do that. I think it's my ADHD and then my autism goes, oh, fuck, I've said the wrong thing or something. She said, no, I didn't know anything about that. And I was like, you heard what I just said to him. She said, no, I didn't. I heard that he was going to meet J.K. Rowling, but I didn't really understand why or why it mattered. And I was like, yeah, well, this is why it matters. And she's like, oh, great. And I was like, so, yeah, maybe if you do want to use your vote, use it. So then I dropped Anna off at nursery. I was leaving the nursery to get the metro home. And I saw my Labour candidate MP in the car park. And I stopped her and I said, what do you think of J.K. Rowling? And she took quite a long pause. I think she was trying to suss whether I was a TERF myself. And she said, well, I'm not the biggest fan. And I said, good, me either. Let me ask you about XYZ. And she was very, very open to having a conversation, which I appreciated, but she kind of defended everything that's been said as he's tripped over his words and he doesn't mean that and we won't get rid of the Equality Act. And I'm like, yeah, but elections, we vote for what people say, do we not? Politicians don't always, honour what they say, which is sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing. But I can't just assume that he's not going to go through with the things that he's saying. And she was like, well, I can appreciate that. I'll be lobbying to against that. I'm, passionate about minorities and stuff. And I was like, so why are you Labour then, if you don't agree with her? And again, she was kind of like, well, it's not really going to happen. And I'm like, well, I'm stood here thinking it is going to happen. And there are trans friends of mine that are frightened. And she didn't really have an instant response to that. I think she was ready to talk about housing or the economy or whatever. So she was like, so if you're not going to vote for me, who are you going to vote for? I said Green. And she was like, well, as long as you don't vote for Reform. And I was like, I've just had a conversation with you about trans people. I'm not going to vote for the Nazi Party. But again, like, wished her a pleasant day and hope she had a lot of coffee for the, going through the night, waiting for the count. But yeah, it was good to see her. I'm sure she will be the one that I will be emailing about these things, because the polls suggest, they're not always correct, but that she will win here. So yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about that. Apart from if it's still July 4th and before 10 p.m, if you have not gone to vote already and you're eligible to vote in the UK, please go to your polling station and use your vote. I will be voting later on when Alex comes home. We usually go together. There's just a little outing. It's literally at the school across the street, so not too far. But then I'll be going to bed early because I am gonna stitch the results. So let me show you. I've talked about Tom Katsumi before, who designed these little paintings, kind of blackwork paintings with colour. In 2015, he live streamed cross-stitching the results of the general election. I'll put some pictures up here. And I saw that and it was just inspired. He hasn't done it again since, I don't think, but there are other people that do a lot of similar things. There's been a couple of years that some people have done like a giant canvas and put pom-poms on for the different constituencies. Someone's crocheting. So I thought, I wanted to do this. I'm a nerd. Like this. I like to watch things as they happen. So I'll be going to bed early before the exit poll, because everybody gets hyped up about the exit poll. And then I'll wake up about 2 a.m. British summertime. So if you're on the other side of the pond, I'll probably turn on YouTube Live. If anybody's there, I'll chat. I might just be sat in silence watching the telly. But I'll be posting to Instagram every hour or so to show my progress. So what I'm doing is, this is a map of a squared off map. I can't remember what this is called when they do the constituencies like that. They make them all the same size. So it looks a bit wonky, of a map of the UK. But this is from the Financial Times. This is colours of what the predicted outcome is for today's vote. So each one of these blocks is a constituency. There are 650. These ones in Northern Ireland aren't coloured with the respective parties because of the way the polling is, but I've just numbered them and I'm going to do them later. So I've got chosen some colours. These are just, I don't think they're particularly true to the shade of the branding of the relevant parties. Just ones that I kind of had in my spare bobbin box. So I've got a colour for each party. I've got some colours for the Northern Ireland parties, but because there's only 18 of them, I haven't done preloaded needles yet. So that's the chart, if you like. So it'll be interesting. This is just to see where to put each stitch. It's not necessarily the colour it'll be, because we don't know the outcome just yet, but it'll be interesting to see when I cross them off if that prediction was correct. This is my little chart. So put all my best political things on here. Feeling stabby. Yes, it's political. And fuck the patriarchy. So this is 14 count Ada. This is actually the Ada that came with Anna's full coverage kit, and I washed it to see what it's like when the printed pattern comes off. And it's a bit grey. It's not really white. But it's just, you know, a bit of Ada to do this, and because it's so small, like this is the size of the chart, I've kind of done it in 5x5 rather than 10x10, just so I can count easy. This little bit is the Northern Ireland bit, so I've kind of got something to go off straight away. So it's not going to be big compared to a 4-foot canvas or whatever the pom-pom people are doing. I'll be watching their live as well to see how they're getting on. So yeah, I'll be up through the night watching the results come in. I'll have snacks and drinks, and if anybody wants to come and keep me company, see what's going on. So we do have, they do predict that, what's it called? Clacton will go to reform, and the Green Party will keep Brighton Pavilion. We've got a couple of Plaid Cymru in there. I expect I'm going to be using a lot of red for the Labour seats. But yeah, it's to be seen. And in terms of my tarot pull, I do feel like I'm just kind of on at the end of this, not even 6 weeks of campaigning. I was thinking about it, and it's you know, a good 4 or 5 years I've been actively consuming political content, news, just being engaged in it. I watch Prime Minister's Question Time, and I watch parliamentary select committees. So I feel like this is the first election that I've been most informed, and being disappointed with the outcome that we might have. Like, yes, we're getting rid of the Tories, but if Labour are just coming in as Tories in red ties, then it's not much better, is it? So we've still got to fight. We've still got to fight for everyone's rights. Got to fight for what's best for the country, what's best for the international community. We still got to call for a ceasefire. You know, we still got to do all those things no matter what the colour of the party in power is. So yeah, you know, we vote on words, and those are the words that Keir has chosen to say, but we hold them to account with their actions. So maybe she's right. Maybe none of that will happen, but I'll be keeping watch. and letting you know how it goes. So yeah, that's my plan. To live cross stitch the general election. If you're up and want to join me, please do. I'll be lonely. And probably swearing at the TV. Now, regular Flosstube, like 20 minutes in. FFOs. Oh, I didn't even get it down. Ooh. It's my favourite fungi! It's still like really... It looks good when it's on the wall, but it's still quite a gappy fabric, so it's... I've just like laced it in the back here. Yeah, anyway, so this is the Phoebus and Fungi Sal by Fine Frog Stitching. I finished it on the day that the last piece came out. I think Stephanie said that I was the first that she'd seen on Instagram to finish it, which was fun. Somebody said I had an early start, but it's just the time zone that I'm in. I was ready to go, ready to get it done, and I was so excited. I was talking about how I was gonna finish this in my last Flosstube, and I was looking for an oval hoop, something to put it in, like these rubber fake wood kind of things, but I couldn't find the right size. And Lizzie, Mrs. Lizzie Fisher Stitches. Can't remember. I'll put your correct handle on there, but she reached out and said that she had this hoop just stuffed down the side of her sofa that she wasn't going to use, and could she send it to me? And I think it's just absolutely perfect. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I think it looks great. It's these hoops are not the best for like holding your stitching while you're stitching. Well, for me anyway, personally, I like really drum tight. And I think especially the bigger that you get with these ones, the harder it is to get good tension. So it took me a while. It was kind of slipping about a bit, but we got there in the end. It's not entirely perfect, but it's kind of what I imagined. So I'm happy with that. And yeah, I just had a go at kind of lacing, kind of tacking everything down. I was going to back it with something, but it looks fine when you put it against the wall. You don't see any of that. So yeah, I used a 20 count even weave in Forest Green by Zweigart. I really like the green. And some other people did too, which was lovely. And just the call for DMC. I really enjoyed the Sal. I think it was like the perfect amount for me. There was like 2,000 stitches to do the frame, all the frames, and then each chunk wasn't too many stitches. I got it done in one sitting, if not two. So it wasn't too taxing. It was like, yeah, just the right amount. So the next one that Stephanie's doing is Plants and Petrichor. So I kind of kitted this one because it's finished, but I took the same bobbin box and some of the same colours, and I've pulled all the colours for Plants and Petrichor. I will sign up for it. I don't know if I'll start it because I just want to get some whips done. But the call for fabric is another Witchy Stitcher one. Is it Witchy Stitch? Witch's Garden Craft, sorry. And it's like a moody grey. It's supposed to be like you're indoors on a rainy day. But also some of the other suggested fabrics was this forest green again. So I think I might use the same one. And the stitch size isn't too different from the pack that they sent out, but it will be landscape, I think. So I could get another one of these, and these end bits just twist out, and I think you can put it on the side. So I might do that, see how it is. Might give it until all the pieces are released, and then stitch it all together, and then have like 2 next to each other. I might take them downstairs and put them on my dresser. But yeah, that was my FFO. I absolutely loved it. Loved the design's amazing. All of the detail on the bones. Yeah, really liked this one. I'll put that back up later. New starts. Where's my... Where did I put it? Hold, please. Okay, sorry about that. I put it away. So 1st of July, Trina and I started hashtag SerbSal. This is Serbian proverb by La-Di-Da. I'm doing this on 40 count Valor by Picture This Plus. This is one of the pieces that Imogen had picked out for my birthday when they came last year. Is it last year? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a long time ago. So it's extra special. I love this chart. It's just so beautiful, like the words. So I wanted to do it like as much me as possible. So I love this fabric, and the fabric is special to me. The border is where I kind of started from with my floss choice. It's kind of, me and Trina are just kind of going chaos with it. Just pull whatever you think, whatever you feel. So I was stitching, we had a Zoom, which was lovely. We're going to try and do it every month. So if you want to join, if you're stitching it, if you've already started, if you've not started it yet, let us know. We can do more stitchy Zooms. So this was my pull for the border. Gosh. This is Kathryn Collections Water Lilies in Desert Shadow. So it's got these lovely greens and purples and aqua blue. But the way I've like divided up the skein, there's kind of half of it is this like green and blue section, and then half of it is this like the green and the purple section. So the inside border I'm doing the green and purple, and the outside I'm doing the blue and green. So it's not exactly the same, but it's kind of coherent. And then I started, because I can't do the typewriter method where you do like a half stitch until the 10th and then cross the 10th and carry on going, because this floss is so variegated. I just stitched until I ran out of thread, and I knew kind of like roughly it was going to be over here by my stitch count. So I decided to come inside and do some of this so I could kind of get a gauge. I think this is about halfway down. But I can do some of the inside and then take the border around when I know where to go with it without having to count too much. So this purple, I'm just using on these 4 flowers in the corner because it is, let me show you. This was from Michelle's Stitch It For Me, which was the Serbian proverb pattern. So I thought that was quite nice to use that, but there's not a lot of it, so I don't want to run out, and maybe I'll use it somewhere else in the middle, but for now it's just the 4 flowers, the petals. And then the inside, I'm using Classic Colourworks Sea Oats. These are just random flosses that I've pulled based on the kind of colour palette that I'm going for. And then these squares down here, this is Cottage Garden Threads Oregano. I love how different they seem. Oregano. Yeah, so I'm just kind of looking at a piece of the pattern and saying what colour do I want to go with that. I've got a few other colours pulled. This is another Karen Water Lilies in green tea. It's kind of that earthy green and brown I might bring in somewhere. And then the other Stitch It For Me that Michelle had at Stitch North, I used this. This is a Brennan needle. I'm not sure what colour this is, but it goes with that turquoisey aquary blue. I think I might need to pull a few more flosses just so I've got some extra variation. But yeah, I'm loving that. Thank you, Trina, for wanting to do a sal with me. And yeah, I got that. This was just in what, a couple of hours that I did that. So I think I'll put it away just until our next Zoom. Maybe I'll just work on it on the Zooms and see how far I can get. But yeah, that was that. Oh, this was another one. This was hiding. Cottage Garden Threads Blue Cypress. I'll have to raid more of my cottage gardens, I think, because I signed up for the Cottage Garden Advent Calendar like I did last year, so I'll have a lot to use. I have been assured they're not the same, they won't pick the same colours as they did, but because I've got other cottage gardens from like the Hearts for Pam and just from other things, I might get duplicates. So I have to start using them. Right, that was that. Whips. So I was still working on my time for tea. I was watching this back last week, doing my before and after, and I thought I had way more done the 2 previous videos. So this is what I looked like before. This is what it is now. I think I've got quite a bit done. This just sits at my desk when I've got 10 minutes to put a length in, and it's getting there. It's a chunky one. There's a lot of coverage in that, and then there'll be a lot of back stitching to do. But yeah, this is 28, 32. I want to say 32 count linen by Permin in lavender. This chart is Always Time for Tea by Tiny Modernist. It was part of the X Stitch the Rainbow collaboration with Trinway Silks. I stitched the Ink Circles one originally on the same fabric. I'm starting to lose my words now. And I really like the colour combination. So this is a chart that we got free in the goodie bag at Stitch North. So I went to stitch it. And then I'd had the Wild Violet one as well in my wish list. So I'm going to do that one after I finish this one. And I got 2 more frames that match the one that I put the Ink Circles one in. And now that the living room is finished, when those are done, I'll put them up as a triptych or some kind of thing. I think that'll be fun. But yeah, loving that one. It's nice and easy. Just nice and peaceful. Hamster mandala. I don't think I'd started this the last time. I showed you that it had come in. So this is Julia's stitch, part of the second Most Magnificent Ink Circle round robin that they are hosting. So they stitched this bit. I think I stitched this green bit. They stitched kind of up to the hand. Up to the hammer. So I've done this bit. So yeah, this got lost in the post for what, 3 months. They thought it was gone forever. They were devastated. I didn't have tracking or anything, so I didn't know where it was, and it just turned up at my house one day. Just decided to come back from wherever it's been. So this was supposed to be sent on Saturday, the 4th, no. Yeah. It's supposed to be sent on Saturday or Sunday, and I started it on Saturday or Sunday. I think they forgive me. But I want to do it rather quickly so I can get it to Kim, so it's not too far behind. I'm hoping just maybe I'll be like a week, maybe 2, maybe 2 and a bit. The hamster's like pretty full coverage, so we'll see. We'll see how much I can get done. Kim's a fast stitcher, so not that I want to put too much pressure on her, but she could get us caught up. I'm just happy that it got here. Now, where all the stuff's over there. I don't know what fabric this is. It's a 40 count because we're in team 40 count. Everyone's doing it on 40 count. There's some DMC. The variegated is a Jodery Designs. Julia explained it in their video of like when they were planning it, and said everything about it. So when it was lost, I went back to that video to see if I could find the threads and maybe like start a new piece for them. But I think those are discontinued now. So again, for that reason, I'm glad this showed up. But yeah, some Jodery and the Anchor Black, I think, which I don't think I've used before, so that'll be interesting. And then some DMC. And I'm using the needle minder that Megan gave us for being part of the, what's the hashtag? The Lord of the Rings, Sal, Namaste. I just got some new, moisturizer, and it's from the Rituals Namaste collection. Oh, Namari tapestry, excuse me. Sal that they were all doing, and I just kind of sat like Gollum in the corner of the Zooms, not stitching the Namari tapestry, but I just wanted to hang out. But I did get a needle minder and the little needle book and stuff that Megan made. So thank you for that, Megan. I just thought the colours worked very nicely together, and that's why I picked it. So yeah, did this little bit around here. I love doing these round robins. Because you just have to do a little bit for one, which is the main point of the round robin. But also, I kind of look at the back of, and you can see where people have gone. And I always I do full crosses. I don't do a half stitch and then come back, unless it's like for counting. I generally do full crosses. So my back looks different to somebody else's back that does one and then back, because they get the singular lines. I get like a down line and a cross line. Anyway. But just to see like how, I like figuring out how best to kind of go around here, like the most efficient use of the floss. So yeah, I think Julie may have stopped and started thread, or it's just they had a lot of loose ends. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's just fun, lots of fun. I'll figure out what the fabric is for next time, or I'll put it on here if I go over there and find out actually what it is. But yeah, that was a good start, and good that it turned up. I'm very happy. I'll be sending it on with tracking and insurance and everything to Kim, and fingers crossed that it gets there okay. Other whips, so what I nearly forgot to roll last week, and I ended up rolling, is Moon and Stars. This is a pattern. It was from a place on Etsy. I think it was unreputable. I didn't realise at the time. It's Alphonse Mucha's 4 panels of moon and stars depictions as women. I should look more into like the meaning behind each of them. I'm just doing because they're pretty. So the goal for the year is to get to 10% on this, and 10% is 10% of the whole 4. So I have to get to, how much do I have to get to? So this is currently at 5.3% of the whole 4. Why do I do these things to myself? This is the width of one panel. This is 25 count vintage grey even weave by Zweigart. It's just one of the printed types, just so I'll have a little, an inch or so between each one of them, and I'll get it mounted with a little gap around each side, just so the fabric looks interesting. So I managed to get 597 stitches done. You probably can't tell if I do a before and after. You might be able to. These patterns go into Pattern Keeper, so I track them like that. So you can see how many stitches are left of a certain colour. So I've been trying to colour complete. As you can see, I'm a cross-country stitcher. I do not part my threads. I'm crazy like that, I know. This is, I think it goes just about all the way down. It's pretty big. So in this area, which is kind of, there's no pages in Pattern Keeper, but what I've kind of just designated as what I can see on the screen easily. I've been trying to colour complete in there. So I've got like a whole thing of 310 in my bobbin box for this, and there is one stitch of 310, and it's like down here somewhere. So I'm just waiting for that one to be done. The next time I pick this up, there's a whole load of a colour in here to fill in. And sometimes I don't want to do big blocks of colour. I want to pick the little doodads in here and cross them off and put the bobbin away again, so I don't have to use that colour anymore. So mostly I think it was around her skin, or this fold of the dress. So yeah, did not get to 10%. Don't think I'll get to 10% before the end of the year if we redo this. But yeah, it was fun to get this out. I do love this this is why I need to work on more whips. I need some finishes to dedicate some more time to whips. I didn't have any haul. Like I said, I had the stitchy kindness of the hoop from Lizzie, and one of my viewers who won the needle minders sent me a gift voucher for the sewing shop for Kaylee. So thank you so much for that. Again, totally unnecessary, but very much appreciated. So when Kaylee's ready with the fabric that we're gonna do for the moon phase belt pull, I'll be adding some project bags to my order and maybe some more fabric. I have to talk to her. But yes, that was all my haul. I'm trying to go on a no buy. Just everything's getting a little bit out of hand. I do have an order coming from Marley's Mixed Bag. She's closing her shop, so I did a little order for that. So when that comes in, that was not part of the no buy. Yeah, just, you know, cost of living. I've signed Anna up for swimming lessons. Finally, there was a spot open, so I managed to get her on that. So she starts on Monday. So that's, you know, another direct debit going out every month. So yeah, I'm trying to just be more mindful. I was trying to buy clothes for myself. Since I got diagnosed with autism, and one of the questions was, you know, around, I can't even remember how they phrased the question, but it eventually got around to, I have this cardigan that I like, and I like it so much that I went on Vinted and found another cardigan that was the same, so I could have that cardigan at all times. You know, when one is in the wash. I think that was a big red flag for them. Not red flag. It was a big tick in the box towards the autism diagnosis. And since then, I've just kind of thought, well, yeah, that's always been the case. I've always been kind of picky about my clothes, if you want to call it that. And there are certain clothes that are not good. So I'm trying to find clothes that I'm comfortable in, that I like wearing. So that often means kind of buying here and there, and I do return things if I don't like them, if it doesn't work for me. But I don't really need to be buying stuff. I've got clothes, and I certainly don't need any more cross stitch stuff. I'll be paying the next few installments of my Cottage Garden Threads advent calendar. I would like another advent calendar. I've been looking at Stitchy Box ones, just like regular boxes, but just so there's something to open at advent. But yeah, I'm maybe just more mindful purchasing. Not being tempted by the ads on Instagram. So yeah. Plans are live stitch the general election. Please come and cheer me on, because I'll be so tired. I do have to work the next day as well, so we've got Red Bull in the fridge, I've got Pro Plus, we'll have tea, we'll have snacks. We'll go for it. But apart from that, let's roll the dice, let's not forget. Oh, what is that? I can't even see. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 cinnamon stars. Oh, yay! Right, to get to 50% on that. So I am, it's a paper chart, but I must be counting stitches. But I've removed kind of the bottom bit of that chart, but it's on tiny. I'm doing maybe like 28 count. Is it 28 count over 1? Something like that. Don't know where that one is at the minute. Let me have a look. Let's check Notion. So Cinnamon Stars is currently at 24.6%, 1,165. So I've got maybe about 1,300 stitches to do. 1,300 stitches on Cinnamon Stars in the next 2 weeks, maybe. I don't think I'll be able to do that while I'm waiting for counts to come through and declarations to be made for the election. I might take something down that's a bit easier in the middle of the night to be stitching, not 28 count over 1. But yeah, I'll do it when I have time. I'll be working on Handsome Mandala as well, because that needs doing. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to try and keep this under an hour. I'm going to go to work and use your vote. Love you, bye.